welcome back to the deep dive. It feels like generative AI is just everywhere these days. It's really reshaping whole industries, changing how we work, how we create stuff.
Absolutely. It's moving so fast.
It really is.
Yeah.
And with all this incredible, rapid evolution, a really critical question pops up. How do we actually make sure these powerful systems are, well, good, reliable,
Wow.
quality control?
Exactly. How do we know they're doing what they're supposed to do consistently, accurately, every single time? For us, this is kind of with the rubber of all this cool innovation meets the road of rigorous testing.
Couldn't agree more.
So today, we're doing a deep dive into the, frankly, essential world of generative AI testing tools. Our mission, to try and cut through all the noise out there.
There's a lot of it.
Oh, yeah. We want to give you the most important nuggets of knowledge we could find from a really exhaustive search and hopefully help you navigate this rapidly growing, sometimes pretty dizzying market.
And you're so right. Choosing the right tool here isn't just like a nice to have. It's
Yeah.
absolutely critical.
A poor choice, well, it can lead you down a really frustrating path. Think false positives that hide real problems, big gaps in your test coverage.
Oh, yeah.
Tests that just don't understand the context or can't handle those weird edge cases, and agonizingly slow adaptation when your AI model changes.
Nightmare scenario for dev teams.
Totally.
Yeah.
What's really cool for this deep dive is that our source comes from an expert who, get this, spent over 120 hours hands-on with more than 30 AI-powered tools.
Wow, 120 hours.
Yeah, and they shortlisted the best 5 for us to look at today. That's some serious groundwork, and it gives us a really solid base for our chat.
Okay, fantastic. Let's unpack this then and jump right into those top contenders.
Yeah.
First up, testRigor.
Okay.
Now, this one's positioned as an advanced generative AI test automation tool. Its core appeal, it really jumps out, that simplifies complex user flows because you can create automated tests using just like free-flowing plain English.
Right, like you're just describing it.
Exactly. Sometimes even just a single sentence can define a whole test. The big takeaway seems to be its ability to genuinely mimic how a real user would actually interact with an application.
It's pretty remarkable, actually. testRigor uses AI to automatically generate tests based on actual user interactions. So you imagine your most common paths through an app.
Yeah.
testRigor watches those and builds tests that are efficient and, importantly, reliable. Now, while it's very thorough, our source did mention you might occasionally need a human to step in.
Okay.
Not because it missed something fundamental, but more to add extra scenarios, capture those subtle variations maybe only a person would think of.
Gotcha. Nuances.
Exactly. And for the DevOps folks, especially when we talk test maintenance, this is kind of a game changer. It gets rid of the need to rely on those brittle things like XPath or CSS selectors.
Yes. The bane of testers everywhere.
Right. Those specific code addresses that break tests constantly when the UI shifts even a tiny bit. So this leads to much more stable tests, and it really cuts down on those maintenance headaches that just eat up developer time.
Oh, I can imagine that's a huge relief. Makes tests way more resilient. And it integrates seamlessly with CI/CD pipelines, which, for anyone maybe not living and breathing DevOps, basically means it slots right into your automated build and release process.
Yeah, smoothly.
So it speeds up development by automatically running tests whenever new code is pushed. Plus, it can set up a full test environment with, minimal human help.
That's the idea, minimal intervention. But you mentioned its self-healing capability. That sounds interesting. How does that work?
Ah, yes. This is really its standout feature, kind of next-gen stuff. Its self-healing uses Vision AI.
Vision AI, so it sees.
Pretty much. It literally sees the screen like a human would.
Yeah.
So if an element changes position or maybe the button's text changes slightly, the tool tries to find alternative ways to complete the step.
Instead of just failing the test.
Exactly. It prevents test failures that would otherwise just halt your pipeline. But what's really powerful is that you, the user, can actually see the cases where it's self-healed.
Oh, okay. Transparency.
Yeah, and you can even roll back the change if you don't like how the AI adapted. So this does raise a question for teams, right? Like, how much autonomy do you give the AI?
That's a good point. Where's the balance?
Right. For many, the sweet spot might be letting the AI handle minor UI tweaks, things moving around, but keeping human oversight for bigger structural changes or, core business logic shifts.
Yeah.
Just to avoid any unintended side effects. It's about finding that balance, like you said.
Makes sense. Control versus automation.
So, summing up the pros for testRigor, customizable test rules. It supports two-factor authentication for security, and you can group similar tests together, which is nice for organization. The main con highlighted was a slight learning curve for beginners, which, given the power, maybe isn't too surprising.
Probably fair.
Pricing-wise, there's a free forever open source plan, which is great. Paid plans start around $300 a month, and you can try the paid features with a 14-day free trial.
Good options there.
All right, let's shift gears. Next up, BlinqIO.
BlinqIO, okay.
This tool is flagged as an AI-based tester covering end-to-end visual and API testing. What's really stressed is its knack for understanding test requirements from plain English, or BDD.
Behavior-driven development, yeah.
Right, that more structured, user story-like format, or even just from an AI recorder tool.
BlinqIO's standout features, they really seem to target some common headaches in modern software development. First, this idea of limitless scaling.
What does that mean exactly?
It means it can expand your testing capacity pretty effortlessly. It automatically adapts test code for different screen sizes, which is just vital with all the devices we have today.
Absolutely critical.
And this also lets its generative AI handle a lot of the test writing, analysis, and upkeep. So your human test engineers, they can focus on the really complex strategic stuff.
Which should mean faster releases.
It's exactly a shorter time to market. Something else that's pretty impressive is its multilingual testing support for over 50 languages.
Wow, 50?
Yeah. Now, while it apparently handles major global language as well, the source did note it might struggle a bit with some very specific regional languages or dialects.
Okay, that's a nuance to keep in mind for global apps.
Definitely. If you're targeting super niche markets, that's something to check.
And it aims for high-quality code.
How? Well, the AI-generated code is based on open source Playwright.
Ah, Playwright. That's well regarded.
It is. It's a popular, pretty robust framework. So that means you get transparency, stability, likely better security, and continuous updates with fewer bugs baked in. And it also claims to really get the business logic.
Understand the why behind the test.
Sort of.
Yeah.
Its adaptive nature lets it create more realistic test environments, do contextual validation, and behavioral testing. So it's not just checking inputs and outputs in isolation, it's trying to understand the flow.
But it's not perfect.
Right. Even with BlinqIO's smarts, the source points out that really complex, nuanced scenarios, they still benefit from some manual intervention to get them spot on.
So AI helps, but human insight is still key for the tricky stuff.
Exactly. It's that augmented intelligence idea, not just replacement.
Okay, so BlinqIO pros. Its adaptability reduces rework, saving time. It integrates with common tools like SSO, JRA, TestRail, and it offers on-premise options, which is important for some regulated industries.
Flexibility there.
Cons, though. A complex initial setup and apparently relatively high learning curve.
Yeah, sounds like it might take some effort to get going.
For pricing, you need to book a demo or contact their support. But like testRigor, it also offers a 14-day free trial.
Good to have that trial period.
Next tool on the list, Roost.ai.
Roost.ai, okay.
This one's built, it seems, specifically to boost test accuracy and fill those annoying gaps in test coverage, especially with its Roost GPT feature for streamlining unit and API testing.
Right, focusing on those lower levels of the test pyramid.
Yeah, and it's noted for being adaptable to code changes and automatically updating unit test libraries, keeping things synced up as the code evolves.
Roost.ai really aims high on coverage. Its algorithms are designed for exhaustive unit and API testing, trying to hit all possible scenarios. That's a pretty bold claim in testing.
It is. That's hard to achieve.
Very. It's also meant to be versatile, works with new code, works with legacy systems, which is huge, and it plugs into developers' existing tools and automated workflows.
Makes adoption easier.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Interestingly, the source did mention seeing some erratic behavior with certain IDEs, the coding environments developers use.
Oh. Any fix?
Yeah, apparently the suggested fix was often pretty simple. Just update the Roost.ai plugins and the IDE itself to the latest versions.
Ah, okay. Good practical tip there. Could save some headaches.
Definitely. What's also kind of cool is its multiple input source thing. Roost GPT can pull info from API specs, user stories, even existing source code
All at once.
to generate tests that are better synced with, real-world use cases. And it can even sniff out potential vulnerabilities by scanning code and logs for sensitive data leaks, all running within its own testing environment.
That security angle is interesting. How flexible is it in how you use it?
It offers quite a bit of flexibility, actually. Supports 3 main ways to work. A command line interface, which developers often like, a self-hosted Docker solution if you need more control over the environment, and a Visual Studio Code extension, making it really accessible right within a popular IDE.
Nice range of options.
Yeah. And its ability to adapt and work alongside other big AI models like OpenAI, Azure AI, Google Vertex, that's a big plus, along with automatically creating those API test cases and catching anomalies.
Okay, sounds powerful.
Hmm.
But there's always a but, right?
Yeah.
What's the downside?
Well, a really critical thing to watch out for, a notable con, is the potential for hallucination.
Hallucination, like the AI making things up.
Kind of, yeah. It's where the AI might generate tests that look totally legit, perfectly functional, but they're actually testing functionality that doesn't exist in your application.
Whoa. So you could be spending time testing nothing.
Exactly. It's not doing it maliciously, it's just a quirk of how these models can sometimes work. It means you absolutely need a solid review process by humans to make sure the generated tests are actually relevant and testing real features. You don't want to be testing ghosts.
That's a fascinating, slightly scary challenge, testing for things that aren't even there. Okay, pricing for Roost.ai.
You need to contact their support directly for details. But again, they offer a 14-day free trial so you can get a sense of it first.
Good, good. Now let's turn our attention to Ventrilo.ai. This one's described a bit differently as an emerging, still kind of in stealth mode tool.
Ooh, mysterious.
Yeah, designed to speed up testing workflows, but positioning itself less like a tool and more like an AI testing teammate, almost giving it a personality.
Huh. An AI teammate. That's an intriguing concept, especially since it's still mostly under wraps. What really stands out from the description is this vision of autonomous AI testing agents.
Agents, like little AI workers.
Sort of. Ventrilo.ai is apparently being built around these AI teammates that would manage end-to-end testing tasks. The goal seems to be significantly lightening the load on traditional QA teams.
Okay, taking on whole tasks.
Yeah. It also talks about a developer-centric design, plugging right into the development workflow to streamline creating tests and figuring out bugs issue triaging, and the promise of root cause debugging. That's really compelling.
You mean it tells you why a test failed?
Potentially, yes. Not just flagging the failure, but pointing directly to the source of the issue in the code. Imagine how much faster that could make fixing things.
That would be a massive time saver. No more hunting around.
Exactly. It also seems very focused on test stability, trying to reduce those flaky tests that pass sometimes and fail others for no clear reason.
The worst kind of test.
Yeah, totally. Using context-aware analysis and filtering out false positives. Plus, it's aiming to be no-code, low-code friendly.
Making it accessible beyond hardcore coders.
Right. Potentially opening up test generation to product teams, maybe even less technical testers.
Interesting. And CI/CD integration.
Yep, designed for minimal setup with existing pipelines. So teams can hopefully adopt it without major disruption to how they already work.
So the anticipated pros, based on what we know, promises of largely hands-free AI testing, likely fewer flaky tests, and hopefully a smooth setup.
Sounds appealing.
The main con, obviously, is the big unknown. What frameworks and languages will it actually support when it launches? It's still a bit of a black box.
True. We'll have to wait and see on that.
Any pricing info yet?
Just a little hint.
Yeah.
A Ventrilo.ai Plus plan is listed at $20 a month for unlimited autocomplete suggestions. So that gives you a clue about maybe one of its initial features.
Okay, autocomplete for tests. Interesting. Finally, let's look at BlinqIO.
BlinqIO.
Described as a next-gen Gen AI tool, really focusing on visual accuracy and smart automation. It uses LLM's large language models to convert requirements directly into test cases and code snippets.
From requirements straight to tests.
Yeah. The source used a really powerful phrase for it. It doesn't just test, it thinks. That certainly sets expectations high.
It really does. That implies a deeper level of understanding.
So what makes it think?
Well, BlinqIO seems to innovate by taking raw software requirements like written descriptions and turning them into structured test cases. This aims to make sure nothing gets missed and keeps the output really consistent, which is huge for big projects.
Consistency is key.
But what seems genuinely unique, really standout, is its direct integration with design tools like Figma.
Oh, wow. Figma, that's where designers live.
Exactly. This allows it to validate visual stuff directly against the design spec. Think paddings, typography, color palettes across different screens. For any company that's serious about UX and brand consistency, making sure things look right, that's invaluable. Pixel-perfect validation.
That goes way beyond just checking if a button works. That's checking if it looks right. according to the design.
Precisely. It also automatically generates tests for different platforms using AI.
So less manual setup for cross-platform testing.
Right. And it automates other visual validations too, comparing different versions during test migrations, checking visual components, comparing development environments, ensuring layout consistency. It also plays nice with a lot of popular automation frameworks.
Like which ones?
Selenium, Appium, Storybook, JUnit, Test Cafe, Cypress. A good list. Plus, it offers codeless and visual editing.
Visual editing, how does that work?
Yeah, apparently you can literally edit test cases by working with screenshots and visual flows. Like you could change a user journey just by dragging elements around, clicking on things, and validating visually without needing to dive into the test code itself.
Okay, that could be really powerful for visual testing and maybe non-programmers.
Mm-hmm.
So pros for Magnif AI.
Yeah.
That direct Figma integration is huge. It eliminates a ton of repetitive manual design checks.
Definitely a time saver.
It reduces the need for writing lots of test scripts from scratch and ensures a consistent structure for test cases, which helps teams work together.
Makes collaboration easier.
On the con side, teams maybe not used to Gen AI workflows might need some training to get the most out of it. And while its UI test coverage seems super strong, tests for underlying business logic might still need customization and human input.
Right. The visual focus is strong, but logic needs attention.
And the price?
The source mentioned a Magnif AI business plan at $8,140 a month. That gets you unlimited API calls via Azure API. So definitely position at the higher end.
Okay, quite an investment there. So now that we've looked at these 5 individually, here's where it gets really interesting, I think, pulling back and comparing them.
Seeing the pattern?
Exactly.
Yeah.
While each has its own flavor, there's a lot of common ground too. Our source highlights these recurring capabilities, things like no-code test creation,
Seeing that a lot.
cross-platform testing, parallel test execution for speed, self-healing capabilities, visual testing features, obviously integration with CI/CD.
Table stakes now, really.
Test data management, integration with issue tracking systems like JRA, real-time test monitoring, and supporting multiple programming languages. These seem pretty standard now for these AI tools.
Indeed. It's clear these features are becoming kind of the baseline expectation for modern AI testing platforms. But for you, the listener, the key distinction often comes down to where some tools might have, say, limited capabilities noted.
Right, the nuances.
Exactly. For instance, one tool might be less developed in predictive analytics or maybe customizable test reporting, or even specific parts of cross-platform testing might be marked as limited. Understanding these subtle differences is really key.
To match the tool to your actual needs.
Precisely. It helps you identify the specific strengths or weaknesses that align with what you uniquely need. And it raises that important question: how much does a slight limitation in one area really impact your overall testing strategy?
Good point.
If predictive analytics isn't critical for your current project, maybe a tool with limited capability there is still perfectly fine. But if it's a core requirement for you, well, you'd weigh that much more heavily in your decision.
That's a really critical consideration, absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, even with these super powerful advanced tools, we know there are always common challenges, right? The gotchas, you could say.
Always trade-offs.
What are these common limitations our listener really needs to be aware of when considering AI-based testing? And more importantly, what are the practical solutions to kind of mitigate these issues?
Yeah, this is crucial for actually succeeding with these tools. First off, you often face a pretty high initial setup cost.
Right, that came up.
The solution isn't necessarily to avoid them, but maybe to strategically invest in scalable, cost-effective cloud-based solutions. That inherently reduces the need for big, upfront hardware spending.
Okay, leverage the cloud. Makes sense.
Second, there's that lack of, well, human intuition, especially in really complex, ambiguous scenarios. The fix: don't rely solely on the AI. Combine your AI tools with careful, targeted manual analysis. That gives you much better accuracy and that needed contextual understanding.
Best of worlds.
Exactly. Third, there's a huge dependence on the quality of your training data. You know, saying garbage in, garbage out?
Oh, yeah.
Crucial for AI.
So the solution is you have to be rigorous about providing high-quality, diverse data sets, and you need a relentless focus on continuous model training and refinement. It's not a one-and-done thing.
Constant learning for the AI. Okay, what other hurdles?
Another common one is the difficulty some tools have with truly unstructured data, like free-form text or images without labels.
How do you handle that?
For this, you typically use pre-processing steps and data transformation techniques. Basically, you try to turn that raw, messy data into a more structured format that the AI can understand and work with.
Okay, prepare the data first. Fifth, some tools just struggle to integrate smoothly with older legacy systems. The solution there is usually about planning. Think gradual integration strategies, maybe using APIs or middleware as a bridge between the old system and the new tool. Roost.ai actually was noted as being pretty good at this.
Good to know. What else?
Then there's the complex setup issue we mentioned. For tools like BlinqIO, which the source specifically called out for this,
Right.
the solution is really about leveraging the vendor support resources, providing solid training for your staff, or maybe even hiring people who already have the relevant skills to handle that initial complexity.
Plan for the setup effort.
Yeah, don't underestimate it. And finally, there's sometimes limited adaptability to really rapid changes in the software or requirements. To counter this, you just have to commit to regularly updating your AI models and algorithms, keeping them aligned with how your project is evolving. BlinqIO and Roost.ai, again, were highlighted as being relatively strong in their adaptability here, designed to learn and grow with your code base.
Okay, so ongoing maintenance of the AI itself is key too.
Absolutely essential.
So after exploring all these, cutting-edge tools and the very real challenges they bring, what does this all really mean for you, the listener? It seems to point towards combining the best of both worlds, right?
Definitely.
Taking the structured rigor of traditional testing methods and blending it with the flexibility and, frankly, the speed of generative AI. How can you actually achieve better, more robust results by integrating these two approaches intelligently?
Oh, the synergy is potentially transformative. You're leveraging that structured, deep, human-centric approach from traditional testing.
Right, the experience, the intuition.
With the speed, the adaptability, the sheer efficiency you get from generative AI. Take test case creation, for example.
Okay.
AI can rapidly generate a huge diversity of test cases, maybe even finding scenarios you wouldn't think of. Then your manual testers come in and refine those cases, adding critical business logic, focusing on tricky edge cases.
So AI does the breadth, humans do the depth.
That's a great way to put it. Or in test execution, let the AI handle the massive volume of repetitive regression tests. Humans then focus their energy on reviewing any failures, digging into the root cause, understanding the real context.
Makes sense. What about script maintenance?
Same idea. AI can automatically update scripts that broke due to minor UI changes like what testRigor does with self-healing, but your team still reviews those automated fixes to make sure they're actually correct and didn't miss something subtle.
Human oversight again?
Always.
Yeah.
And for test prioritization, AI can analyze tons of historical data past bugs, code changes, usage patterns to identify high-risk areas in the application. This lets your manual testing efforts focus precisely where they're needed most, on the most critical issues.
Using data to guide human effort? Smart. It really sounds like a collaborative effort, not just AI taking over.
Exactly. It's not replacement, it's augmentation.
How about other areas where the synergy really shines?
Well, cross-platform testing is another good one. AI can generate platform-specific tests super quickly for iOS, Android, different browsers. Then you manually fine-tune those tests and, crucially, get real user feedback on those platforms.
AI handles the bulk, humans handle the polish and feedback.
Right. When it comes to finding and investigating bugs, AI is brilliant at detecting anomalies or unexpected behavior across huge logs or data sets. But human insight is still paramount for investigating the real cause and, importantly, the business impact of that bug.
Understanding the so whats.
Exactly. Synthetic data creation is another area. AI can generate vast amounts of realistic-looking test data without using sensitive, real user information.
Which is great for privacy and security.
Huge. Then you can use that data to manually test the product in diverse, specific scenarios or environments. And finally, scalability. AI can manage testing against enormous data sets or user loads without needing massive extra human resources. Meanwhile, your manual checks or traditional frameworks can focus on ensuring the accuracy and validity of the results and the data itself. This hybrid approach, it truly amplifies both effectiveness and human potential.
That's a powerful combination.
Okay.
So after all that exploration, all the features, the challenges, the synergies, which tools ultimately stood out to our expert based on their, decade-long experience and all that in-depth research? Who were the top performers in this really fast-moving landscape?
Yeah, drilling down to the final verdict, based on the source's analysis, three tools really rose to the top as leaders in this space, each with slightly different strengths.
Okay, the top three are.
First, testRigor. It got high praise specifically for its unique ability to simplify those really complex user workflows and for genuinely mimicking authentic user behavior in its tests. Really strong on the user journey simulation.
Okay, testRigor for user flow simplicity. Who else?
Second, BlinqIO. It earned high marks for generating tests that seem to intuitively understand the underlying business logic, not just the surface actions, and also for offering those truly limitless scaling capabilities, adapting effortlessly to really diverse testing needs.
BlinqIO for business logic and scaling. And the third.
And third, Roost.ai. This one was highlighted for its reliable, very complete test coverage, especially using those advanced algorithms for unit and API testing, and critically, its impressive adaptability not just to new code, but its ability to handle existing legacy systems, which, as we know, is a massive challenge for many organizations.
Roost.ai for coverage and legacy system adaptability.
Yeah.
Excellent summary. So we've taken a really comprehensive deep dive today. We've gone from the specific capabilities of these cutting-edge generative AI testing tools, looked at the common challenges they present, and explored that powerful hybrid approach integrating AI with traditional methods for maximum impact. This field, wow, as we've discussed, it's just moving at an incredible pace.
It really is a truly dynamic field. And you'll find, I think, that continuous learning is it's absolutely essential to stay ahead. The landscape of AI testing is constantly shifting, with new solutions and techniques popping up, well, even as we speak.
It definitely feels that way. So a final thought for you, our listener. As generative AI continues to reshape how we build software, how we interact with it, how might your own approach to quality assurance need to evolve? Maybe beyond just picking the right tool, are you ready to embrace perhaps a more symbiotic relationship between that irreplaceable human insight and this powerful AI efficiency, truly leveraging both to achieve something far greater? Something to think about.